everybody. Josh the RV Nerd here with Bish's RV in Coldwater, Michigan today, hanging out with some updates. I'm about 2 or 3 years overdue updating the footage here in this Rockwood 2606, or whatever the equivalent Flagstaff model number is. If you didn't know Rockwood and Flagstaff, I call them Rockstaff. They're literally the same thing. This RV has been around for a while. A lot of brands build this layout, but Rockwood takes it up a couple notches, doing some things the other ones don't. Case in point, you're looking at one right now. A wardrobe slide out dedicated strictly to the bedroom to increase your storage capacity. It's kind of crazy to me because around 2012 and 13, those things were all over the marketplace. And they kind of fizzled out and dried out, and you don't see as many anymore, but maybe that's why this one continues to be so popular. And this floor plan always makes me laugh. It's almost like somebody looked at him and said, I bet you can't fit a full-time fifth wheel into a 30-foot travel trailer, and Rockwood was like, hold my beer, I'll give it a shot, because they pack some serious stuff into this. First of all, the construction of these, they are a like 3 or 4 year consecutive gold level DSI award-winning brand. Pound for pound, dollar for dollar. I personally feel that Rockwood is about the best overall brand out there. Now, that doesn't mean that there's nothing else worth considering for my dollar. I'm saying that in the average of things, I think that they're crushing it. This RV's size certainly reads as about half-ton towable. It's about 30 foot on the nose, tip to tail. The maximum weight is approaching, I think, 8,700 pounds or something like that, so that might be a point of concern. It does have a pretty hefty hitch weight because it has a miniature drop frame up front, giving you a huge outside storage compartment. Another one of those fifth wheel features I was saying. Plus, you have that extra slide all the way up on the nose. That does add up to some hefty hitch weight, but we have double Asdel, all aluminum skeleton, plywood floor, enclosed belly with radiant barrier, 12-volt thermostatic tank heaters, Goodyear tires, tire pressure monitoring. We're looking at it today decked out in pretty much every single option that is even possibly available on these, all the way down to the second bedroom TV, second air conditioner, and a partridge in a pear tree. I'm going to let you know what you're looking at, what might be different, and as we go through this video, if you could do me a favor, chime in, leave me some comments, let me know what you like, what you dislike, or what option package you would like to see this built with, and who knows, maybe that'll help us just do a better job for you in the future.
All right, so we saw the floor plan in a flash flyby footage. I'm going to start hitting you with some generals, and then we're going to start getting more specific. By the way, hitting people with generals is a court-martialable offense, not recommended. Now, starting over here with the door, you see the privacy shade in the door, not just shade prep, but they're doing the shade thing, which is cool. Pretty soon, though, you're going to watch that flip about 180 degrees to open from the bottom up. And this year, they have touched up their Obi-Wan Kenobi panel over here, so it's now motion sensitive. You can use the force to activate it. Keep an eye on all your tank monitors and stuff, but you still just have switches for, like, you want to turn all your lights on and off. You can do all that here. You don't have to Bluetooth to it. You just can. There's also an interesting little sticker on there, and it says Wi-Fi Ranger. It's not technically this, but basically the RV has its own little built-in router. It's technically speaking, a signal access point, not a router, but for the way you're going to wrap your head around it, if you're not familiar with technology, those words are going to be effectively interchangeable. We have our toenail toasting, bunion basting, foot fryer down there. I think we've managed to combine about 10 nerdisms in one. We're looking at the standard bigger 12-volt DC compressor fridge right now, but you do have an option for a gas-electric two-way. And like I said, we're looking at this RV about as decked out as it possibly can be. Like, you might have noticed the extra XL vent fan up there above the kitchen space. In the distance, you can see the second air conditioner added up into the bedroom. This has the optional lighter decor on both the inside and the outside. This one has been touched up and gussied up like crazy, but all that has been available before. What has not been available is a carpetless slide out. That is new for 23. Also, the air conditioner that we're looking at right here, that is now a 15,000 BTU as opposed to a 13.5. No more need to upgrade. Basically, like over 90% of people were requesting and building this with the bigger air conditioner anyway. So they said, why fight this? It doesn't necessarily make sense. We've also optioned in on this one in this video today, the bedroom TV, which is normally not there either. You may notice how you've got roller shades through the RV. There's one, well, technically two spots that you don't have those. One is over the kitchen for fire code. The second one is over that window right there because of the way that it's mounted in the nose cap and it arcs down. A roller shade would just kind of, bump you in the head. And I'm not using a fisheye lens. If you trace the woodwork above those doors, you might notice this does have a little bit of a vaulted ceiling. And look how much ductwork they're packing in. In just the bedroom, they have 4 ducts, all of which are vented and louvered, which means they can turn and close individually. So, like, if you like, one of you likes the cold air blowing right on you, but one of you doesn't, you don't have to worry about it. Now, we're going to come back and see all the storage open in just a minute, including, again, one of the things I think I kind of call the signature calling card of this floor plan, that closet slide right there. We'll see all that open. But I do want to volunteer something real quick, and it might be an immediate, all stop. That is a camp queen bed. That is not a 60 by 80 true queen. I do think that there's enough room for a true queen in there if you wanted to sub the mattress out aftermarket or swap it out. Sub out sounds like something you do for the factory. That wasn't trying to imply that. My point is, that might be a problem. And I'm going to make sure you know about that before you start giving us your credit score. You know what I mean? Notice the USB plugs on these little bendy lights that we have up here. I don't know why I bent that straight toward my eye sockets just now, but that was not a good decision. That was not a good decision. Now let's talk some options that we have over here. Today we are looking at the cuddle compliant theater seat. There is also an option for a tri-fold sleeper sofa. And over here we are looking at the optional table and chairs as opposed to the factory standard booth with free floating table. So I've rattled off a lot of different options. And earlier I asked you a favor. Tell me how you would want one of these built. Let me ask you, light or dark interior decor, light or dark exterior, 1 or 2 air conditioners, theater seat or hide-a-bed, table and chairs or booth, extra vent fans, second air conditioner. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, power stabilizer jacks is another one that's available on these. So all kinds of different little options and swaptions available. Porcelain foot flush stool down here, and there's something about the angle of this thing. It almost looks like a monster, kind of just going, that's right, sit on me, I'll bite you, boy. But you might notice, sorry, my little weird fantasy aside, there's actually some excellent space around that thing. There's also in this rear bathroom some really good storage, but I'm at a kind of a tricky angle to show that for you. The good news is we got a little bit of movie magic going on the left side of the screen here where you can see all of that for yourself. Getting in, like there's space for a little wastebasket below the sink. You've got great linen space over here. Like they really pack all the space they can in there. Now, the extra vent that I talked about in the kitchen, the big vent like this, that's optional. The one here in the bedroom, that is standard, so you don't have to worry about that. And the RV is only 6.5 foot tall in the sidewall. But if you notice, the little mini vaulted ceiling, I'm just over 6 foot wearing my shoes right now. Well, I'm just a little over 6 foot plus wearing my shoes is what I meant to say. There's just enough headroom in there for my little peach fuzz. Now, the RV does also have the AquaView Shower Miser water saver, and if you don't know what that is, feel free to leave me a comment and be like, hey buddy, what that is. And I will be happy to try to fill in the blanks. Speaking of which, let's crack open the storage and fill in all those little blanks. This has a huge, deep walk-in pantry-tainment center. And you might notice I can literally stand on that thing with the door closed, although the Octopus Fight Club really wanted to start some noise with me. And I told them, hey, don't start none, won't be none, Octopus. Anyway, the RV does have an auto-detecting converter, so it'll detect whether you have a lead acid, an AGM battery, a lithium, or whatever. I forgot to peel the sink covers off, didn't I? That is a stainless 2-basin sink, and that is a solid surface countertop. Now, the one thing that's a little kind of funky in that kitchen is there's only one set of outlets, but they're not in a bad spot, so I don't really knock it for that necessarily. You might notice under the bed, or if this was a dinette having model, you will find an all aluminum welded skeleton and cage down there. Anything that Rockwood builds in-house that is structural or load-bearing always has a welded aluminum cage, whether that's the skeleton of the RV, a booth dinette if present, or their beds. Now, they don't aluminum weld the sofa because, well, they don't build the sofa. But did you notice? You got that little fold-down armrest with some power outlets in there, but it can go away. That is a cuddle-compliant theater seat. You can't just throw those in any RV, though, because they are a little bit wider. It takes more space to be able to accomplish that. But I like that Rockwood gives you the ability of saying, I need my space, or get over here, babe. You know, like they sort of let you choose your little adventure. Now, down here, there's a little magnet holdback for that big sliding bathroom door so that if you are in here, you don't have to worry about the door accidentally sliding open and putting on a free show for somebody through your panoramic big slide windows. Although, you know, you do have a shade there. You know what? I realized something just now. I said there were 2 shades in this RV that were not roller shades. There is actually a third. We're looking at it right there. One other thing, before we close it up and look at it in road mode, the window coverage on the campsite of the RV is fairly limited. You got the window there in the door. You got a window overlooking the kitchen. Thankfully, with the front windshield, you can still you can cheat it a little bit and look out there. And of course, you've got the windows over here off the slide. But the funny thing is, that wardrobe slide actually kind of eats half the view of it right here. I think you have enough windows where if you hear a noise outside, you can probably peek around. But this is not an amazing model for overlooking your campsite. If you're going to be inside this thing, this is probably where you're going to be right chow. But there is a pretty significant glitch in this one's matrix overall. Obviously, I've got the slide closed. I'm standing back here in the rear bathroom. So you can get to the bathroom from the entry door without having to touch anything. And if you look at the way the kitchen's arranged, you can walk right up there. You can get to the sink, the refrigerator, your cabinetry. You can do a good job there. But you lose the bedroom in transit, and there's really just no way about it. Now, I also want to clarify something, and you're going to watch the slide kind of magically move a little bit while I do this. You really should not be sitting in that dinette in the slide while it's closed or only partially deployed like this, because basically that interior edge of it is not properly supported. Manufacturers don't account for that. They expect the slide to be open when you're going to occupy it. But this is a rack and pinion slide. And the reason I want to talk about partial deployment is if you just need to crack the slide so you can get up here, that may allow you the ability to, let's say the RV's in storage, and at least get up here and like pack your closet, pack your bedroom, throw some extra cargo in there before you set sail down the road. Now that may not work for everybody, and if you'd prefer a version of this floor plan with second entry doors, check the links in the video description. I'm gonna have a couple different options for you there, and you know, hopefully help you find your second camper the first time.
Now, one of the first things I want to mention here is we are looking at the optional exterior decor, the white and graphite kind of combo. They got rid of some of the color accents on some of these, and they're a little bit more monotone. I think that they can blend nicely with any vehicle, but, you know, sometimes some color contrast is nice. You also have a classic kind of, you know, milk chocolate and espresso, if you want to say that, color palette available standard. Now, in terms of towing, like I kind of mentioned at the beginning of this video, there are some half tons that can handle this, and that may be a little more specific to what part of the country you are towing the RV through. You do really need to watch, I think, not so much the total weight or the length on this. With a late model tow package half ton, where I think you really want to watch yourself to be careful is the hitch weight on this one. Again, with that closet slide up front and the miniature drop frame that we're looking at today, it does have a little bit higher hitch weight than most other things in this size class and category. But here's what I mean by the mini drop frame. If you look down here, you see how the I-beam actually drops down like a fifth wheel. It's a Z chassis, basically, not just purely an I-beam. You may also notice we're decked out today with the optional power stabilizer jacks. This is the middle level Rockwood. Auto leveling not available, but power jacks are. Something I noticed, though, on that drop frame, they do hang down pretty low. So, like if you have a really steep, sharp driveway or something like that, that might be something you really want to pay attention to, and that may mean this isn't the ideal trailer for you. If little tidbits like that are useful and beneficial for you, hit that subscribe button if you're new with us. Know that we're going to make sure we get your second camper found the first time. Now, in that bag over there is our power cord, and that little magic power box in the upper left corner, that is our 1,000-watt inverter. And a 1,000-watt inverter, admittedly, is not very large, but something I've made a point to really point out here, a lot of people go, oh, a 1,000-watt inverter, that's not great. Well, it's 1,000 watts more than most RV manufacturers give you. Now, you notice that door is dancing in the wind over there. Not dancing with wolves, but dancing with wind. And that's one of the very few horizontally swinging baggage doors I've ever seen this brand make that doesn't have some kind of magnet holdback. Now on the front down here, we do have 30-pound propane tanks instead of 20s. That's a very rare quality in the world of laminated trailers. And the name of this thing is called a Rockwood Ultralight. But they've really kind of packed on some pounds the last couple years. They've packed on those pandemic pounds in the same way that my midsection has. And I'm not mad about that, because what they've actually done is they've bulked up their construction. Like, they got away from their laminated floor. They have a 5/8 tongue and groove plywood floor decking, but still an all aluminum skeleton. There is radiant barrier material down there, thermostatic 12-volt tank heaters. Rockwood's been doing those for a long, long time. TV mount right over there next to the R in Rockwood. R. Little outdoor griddle station. They've been doing these things, again, for ages. Things that a lot of other brands still don't do, they've been doing for a long, long time. Goodyear Endurance radials with tire pressure monitoring. And you might notice, different suspension. That is not a leaf spring system. That's a torsion suspension. Now, sometimes people go, well, my camper has torsion axles. I said torsion suspension. This actually has both torsion axles and suspension. The difference there is the way that it wants to handle when it's under stress when you're turning. A leaf spring system wants to actually kind of fling you and bounce you off the road. Now, obviously that doesn't typically happen, but a torsion system like that works opposite, and it will work and fight to keep the trailer level. So if you're going around one of those sharp corners, or if like some idiot cuts you off and you have to weave and do some evasive maneuvers really freaking fast, that suspension will fight body roll, left to right rock and roll, and it will try to keep the RV level. That's a big, big deal difference. Down below here, you can see that this has a bumper and a receiver hitch. The receiver hitch kind of hidden by the shadows and the spare tire down there, although I do like that that does have a hard shell cover, and they have maintained the use of a 250-pound rated, basically factory standard built-on ladder. Now, giving you a peek at the roof line up there, you can see a couple things. I love the Max Air vent covers that they're using on this. Anywhere that you get a power vent fan on the roof of these things, you get that bigger vent cover right from the factory, which is cool. No extra upgrades or anything like that. Also, you see the factory standard 200-watt solar package. You can add another panel from the factory if you want. Sometimes we do that, depending on which one of our stores you're looking at. So keep in mind, again, this is just an example of what one of these might have to offer, not necessarily how every single one of our Rockwood 2606 at Bish's RV is going to be built and equipped, like the slide awnings you're looking at. Those are an awesome option, and a lot of people go, every camper should have slide awnings. It depends. It depends on where you camp. Now, if you're around my neck of the woods, southern Michigan, there's a lot of tree coverage, a lot of parks, and a lot of sunshine coming in, pardon me here. Slide awnings are great because they'll keep a lot of those leaves and needles and stuff off the tops of the slides, and it just saves you from needing to work quite so hard into keeping that stuff clean before you close the slide out. But if you live where there's just tons of wind, those things will flap like crazy. The sound will drive you nuts, and it actually may start to shred the material, and it may start slapping the top of your slide. Not to mention, if it rains, some people are like, well, I want to keep the snow off those. Well, the snow will cause them to like sag down, and you'll end up with just, you know, the thing laying on your slide roof anyway. So they're great if you live around like a lot of trees and leaves. Otherwise, I don't know, go camping a few times and see if you feel like you need them. You can always add them later. But again, there's been a couple points like, you might not like the traveling access. You might not like the short queen or something like that. Like, I get it. There's aspects of this floor plan that might be a deal breaker for some folks. The good news is you have no shortage of options. I'm going to leave you a bunch of links in the video description of all kinds of different floor plans that have this layout. I'm sure I will miss a couple, but take a look at a few of those. And if this floor plan is close, leave me little comments like, hey, what do you have that's like this but with X, Y, or Z? And I bet you I have something for it because this is such a popular layout. Folks, when you're ready, we're ready. And until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.